Oh, look at this gathering, eh? All right. 3:37. We've been here about an hour. Fire's going. We fixed the ring. We had to dig it out. Guys are slowly getting organized. Bo's got his super amazing tent. Maddie's gonna hammock in the winter.
Try to anyway.
Try to. He's got a couple of underquilts and a couple of sleeping bags, so it should be comfortable. I cleared a spot for my tent. Hard to find a level place, but Evan's got his castle set up.
Castle the chef.
Castle the chef, yeah.
I was like, when I got that, I was wearing it at work. When did you get home? I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like, oh, so you break it.
I'm gonna put that on first, but I'm gonna let this cool, because as the air cools in it, it'll lose pressure, and then I'll inflate it.
I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to pause the video and talk about the morning. Now, this was supposed to be an event hike, not a destination. So we were going somewhere we've been before. And the reason I say event is because we wanted to get to a campsite. We didn't want to walk too far. It's winter. We only wanted to walk, 5 kilometers. And the purpose of the camp was to actually enjoy company with friends and showcase Evan's cooking. So Evan had made a meal for 7 people, and we had separated the meal among everyone. So, and Evan and I, most of us left Calgary and Edmonton, and we had 3-hour drives, and we had agreed to try and meet at the trailhead by 10, and we succeeded. But by the time I got to the trailhead at 10 o'clock, just as we were ready to start the hike, somebody came and asked if we could help them because somebody was stuck on Abram Lake. So I have a big truck and a strap, so I went and got him unstuck, but that took a whole hour. And so we didn't start until 11 o'clock. And at 11 o'clock when we started, it was cold. It was minus 20 or so. And somebody who's not very familiar with the area actually took off in the lead and took us down the wrong path. Now, the rest of us figured that out quickly. We caught up to that individual as a group. We caught up to the individual. And rather than backtrack, most of us knew that we could do a little bit of bushwhacking and get back to the trail, which we did. But it took us about an hour and a half to get back to the main trail, and by then we had only covered about 8 kilometers. So we were on an extremely slow pace, and it was so strenuous that I wasn't videotaping hardly any of it, and the battery wasn't working anyways. Anyways, when we got back, we kind of, once we got back together on the trail, we knew that the next landmark is a place that I call Turkey Point, which is about a kilometer and a half further ahead. And we all agreed that some of us are going to get ahead to that point and go have lunch and set up a fire, and we can reconsider whether we want to go farther or just stay there. I mean, there was no big deal. So the group got a little bit separated after we got back on the main trail, and about 2.5 hours into the trail, I and 2 other guys, actually 5 of us, were at Turkey Point, and we were getting ready to settle down. And the last 2 guys in the group, one guy had decided that he was turning around for whatever reason. And he sent his partner to catch up with us to tell us that they were turning around, which is fine. That kind of stuff can happen. So when a group like that gets separated and agrees to meet at milestones, it's not uncommon to be 15 minutes apart. I mean, so when that group decided that they changed their mind and they needed to catch up to us, they had 15 minutes to catch up to us. If 30 minutes had gone by when we were sitting at that spot where we had agreed to and nobody else caught up to us, we would turn around. So in a situation, no matter what, you might get separated by half an hour or even an hour of time when you're traveling as a large group, but that's a risk we all take. I mean, that's the worst case scenario, is you're an hour between additional help, but you're always traveling in pairs, so you always have immediate help. Anyways, I'll call him hiker number 6. Hiker number 7 decided he wasn't going to hike anymore and he was turning around. Hiker number 6 chased after us, caught up to us, but rather than come right up to us, he yelled in earshot, "We're turning around." He threw the food on the ground and he buggered off. And the way they did it was problematic. They made a bad situation worse. I mean, if they had just stopped and talked to us, we could have figured out a plan. We could have gone back to where they were and divided their gear and brought their gear back. We could have decided to the campsite. We could have put a campsite nearer than where we wanted to go. We could have all gone back to the car. There's a million options, but we'll never know what the options were because one guy in particular didn't give us that opportunity. And the reason I pause here is because you'll see in the rest of the video, that first night at the camp, Evan brought a ton of food and we were going to have a fantastic night at the camp. Well, the mood around the camp was somber because everybody was second guessing whether we did the right thing, what went wrong. And then there were texts that were sent out with the inReach. I mean, somehow or other, some of the guys' spouses on the trail, the guys who turned around made a claim that they were being stalked by a cougar, which is a ridiculous claim. And so that got to our spouses. So our spouses, because of the inReaches and communication, spouses back at home got nervous because they heard that the group got separated. They heard words like emergency. They heard cougar, all sorts of things. So it actually changed the mood in our camp, and you'll see it in the video. Even though Evan brought this fantastic meal, I never videotaped any of his cooking. Neither did Evan, and I have almost no footage of the chat around the fireside. Now, if you want to see the chat around the fireside, Matty Outdoors still managed to put on a brave face and videotape some of the stuff going on there. So I got a link up, or a card up top. Hit the card and it'll take you to his video and you can see his take on the same trip. Below is also a link to his channel. But needless to say, the mood around the camp was not that good. The video, though, after this, when it continues, you'll see that day 2 and day 3 were absolutely fantastic.
What is that, Evan?
It's 2-bone Alberta beef ribeye.
Grain fed. No. Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, for sure, grain fed. We are going to go through quite a bit of wood tonight, folks, because of the size of the group. Stay warm. We have one hot tent with us. Oh no, I just turned it off. Nope. We have a knife big enough to cut that?
Yeah.
We cut it with the axe, right?
I got a Hablon skinning knife. Yeah. Text that folder.
Oh, wow, what a gorgeous night. It was warm. Whew. Holy cow, 8:40. Never sleep then that late. Morning.
Morning.
Christ. Never stayed in that late. Well, not at first. I had a whole new level of foot cramps last night. Like when I went to bed, I was like, what the fuck? It's snowy to be in booties, but
The whole night too last night. I think I woke up at 3 and I had to pee. That was it.
Bo and the rest of the boys are leaving us today, so they're packing up. How'd you guys sleep in the tent?
Good.
Yeah?
Nice and warm.
At the
Very
stove? You
comfortable.
kept it going, the stove?
We both did.
Yeah. Do you find that, so what would be the comfortable sleeping bag rating, the lowest you think you can go safely and be in the tent?
I've had it down to 27. It was cold, so we just.
But what were you
stayed up.
sleeping in other than, like, what kind of sleeping bag?
Minus 17.
Oh, so you're still, okay.
I had a 0. And
A 0 is comfortable.
Wasn't quite enough. I had to wear layers underneath
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
but
yeah.
I was warm.
Cold. I think I woke up once. I think you just like had jostled my air mattress or whatever when
Oh,
you were
probably,
like.
yeah.
Oh, great! Now that Marty's taping me, I'm not gonna get it on there.
Better than me at
Back
home.
today.
Have a safe one, boys. Yeah, so hopefully the sun comes out a little bit and warms this up and firms it up, because right now the slopes are just fresh snow and fluffy, and you just slide. The boys, I'll show you. The boys are, Maddie's sliding down on his butt.
Cool spot.
Oh yeah. For orientation, we came down that ridge, and then there's a bridge over the creek. Normally we come up this hill right here, and that leads over to Landslide Lake and Lake of the Falls. But yesterday we came up a side hill because that hill's used by horses. This one's just too steep right now to climb, and definitely too steep to go down. I actually wouldn't want to go down that hill because it's actually an avalanche risk as it is right now. It's tunneling down to a creek. There they are. They crossed down there, and now they're going up. You can see one of the guys over there. Boy, there's definitely a big set of tracks that went around the camp.
Of like,
I'm gonna go look closer over there, but something big went down the hill and across. I can drag that one in the camp. Yeah. Even in cold weather, putting a sleeping bag, this is the inside sleeping bag, is the one I would have perspired in the most. Just hanging it here with a bit of sun coming down will actually evaporate it and dry it. I just want to melt this water. I'm not going to boil it, and then I'm going to dump it in a water bottle and try and get the cleanest water I can get. My Outdoor Vitals pants. It's a new pant that they're launching on the market, and I've had a pair for nearly a month now, and they're awesome. Boots loose when you're around camp in winter. Improve circulation. No need to have them on tight. There's a draw cord in the bottom so you can tighten the pants around your boots. That's a good hour of work to get this. So when you see a YouTuber that's walking in and claiming to be in the back country, and they show up at 2 o'clock and then 10 minutes later they have a stack of wood like that, don't believe it. Either their truck is parked 100 yards from the trailhead and they brought in a chainsaw or something, because there's a lot of work. Wow, even without a pack, the snow is brutally deep. Breaking trail is hard. Truck's parked down there somewhere. That's Abraham Lake. I saw these tracks from over there, and I was very curious to see what that is that walked here. So that's not a deer, that's more like a wolf or possibly a coyote. I'm trying to figure out, but when something's walking and just touring the area and then stopping around like this, and deer tracks are farther apart. It's definitely a carnivore. Inconclusive, but I'm actually going to put my money on cougar. Coyote, that's too big to be a coyote. Wolves would be a pack of 2 or 3 or 4 or 6, and there'd be multiple tracks. This is a large solitary carnivore that's walking this ridge, so and it's not a bear at this time of year, so I'm guessing it's a cougar. If a predator wanted to stalk us, that's where they'd be. What a gorgeous area. Absolutely gorgeous. The weather turned out great. Whatever that thing was, it came down and then it went down here. And you can see down there where it crossed and went up. And our camp is over there, so it avoided our camp.
Toast up the brioche. So we'll melt some butter here.
Yeah, it's a big challenge to videotape out here. I'm taping on a GoPro right now, and I have an external microphone, but the external microphone is off right now because I think it's damaged and it's wiggling in the USB port, so it's making that noise. And I know a lot of you have asked, you know, can I tape in 4K? I don't. I do 1080, and I upload to YouTube. Generally, my trip videos I upload in 1080 in high definition, but a lot of times the video I did on health and safety or some of the gear reviews, I just upload those in 720 or lower resolution, just because I'll show you, I'll do a screen capture of a speed test on my internet. My internet speed downloading is 15 Mbps, but uploading is only 1. So because I live in the country and we just don't have high-speed internet. So if I do an 8 gigabyte video in high definition and I try and upload it, it would take me 70 hours, 75 hours to upload that. So it's just not practical. I used to be able to take them to work, but I don't. I'm unemployed right now, and even at work, you know, we'd have 25, 50, but so I'll catch up eventually. I'll upload more often in higher definition, and I'll also probably, and at that point I'll buy a higher definition camera, but I'm still not going to come out here with a $20,000 camera because yesterday I had the camera on my shoulder, and it was getting cold and it wasn't functioning, and then we were side hilling at some point. I was getting snow on it, and if I fell, so an expensive piece of equipment here would simply get damaged. It's just a reality.
We'll do the same to the other one. We'll score it up. So it looks nice. Delicious color and some onion in there, and piece de resistance, some truffle honey. Marty, you sure? Yes. Wow.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a win.
You're not kidding. If you leave that on there too long, it will melt.
Yep.
It's sort of like, it's not like a beef liver. It's
No, it's like a butter.
It's like a butter, but it hasn't been processed. It's literally the liver's taken out of the goose, and it's a goose liver, but it's just so creamy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cheers. Cheers, Marty.
Cheers.
Great trip.
No kidding.
Oh, Mountain Dog's good.
It's 4:33. I think sunset's going to be around 5 o'clock, so we'll lose all daylight around 5:30. So it's a fun time of year. It's encouraging when the days get longer. It's been a nice day so far. It's only been -5, -6, maybe a little bit colder, but the forecast calls for above 0 tomorrow. So on the way out, it's going to be wet, and it's just Evan and I. Yeah, when we got to the trailhead yesterday, almost all of us had been here before, and a lot of times this trail is just ice. And then when we got to the trailhead yesterday, we made the conscious decision, and I'm glad I made that decision, not to bring the pulk. It took us 2.5 hours to hike about 3.5 kilometers. We're really not far from the trailhead right now. In the summer we do this in about 45 minutes, but we got sidetracked. We ended up one of the guys who came with us yesterday led off really quickly, and he wasn't very familiar with the area, and he followed snowshoe tracks, and it led him to a waterfall. We knew 10 minutes into the hike, we knew Bo and Nick both made a comment that we were going the wrong way, but we thought maybe they knew something we didn't know. And it led us to a waterfall, which is gorgeous. I took a couple of pictures of that, but then we had a hard time coming back to the main trail, and we ended up bushwhacking and climbing a hill that was rather nasty. It would have been impossible with the pulk, but then had I had the pulk, I would have gone back. But regardless, the pulk was would have been a challenge in this environment, and because I didn't want to bring the pulk, I did not bring the stove. So I did not test my TP tent and my stove. I left those in the truck. I'll test that in a very controlled environment. I'll go do a camp. We'll go do an overnight where we're like this, 2 kilometers from the road, but we'll be 2 easy kilometers, and then we'll go test the tent that way. But we did our usual camping. We brought double sleeping bags and mattresses and foam pads, and we were super comfortable, so no regret. Evan's videotaping this meal, so you can see the
Behind the scenes.
the behind the scenes. We're getting a lot better. So Evan's got a really nice camera, a nice microphone, and a nice light source, and then a second camera over there. It's all about staging. Lots and lots and lots of work goes into making a YouTube video.
Cooking dinner takes a half an hour longer trying to film it than it would just cooking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just like the Beastie Boys, you want to go slow and low. That is our tempo today. Nice mushroom risotto in there. Stack up some slices of duck for them.
That's good, that's good, that's good.
Oh, you get one more.
All right.
Haven't noticed yet, I like my onions. Chives are really nice. Make the plate pop a bit. But I did bring a little treat. Snuffling Swine, my truffle provider, hooked me up with this nice 35-gram truffle. Winter truffle. Oh my god, it smells so good. I'll just shave some fresh truffles on that. You know what? We're back here. Let's just have some mushrooms on that. Amazing. Wow.
What kind of duck?
Margray.
Margray duck. Fresh duck. risotto and truffles. This will be my first time tasting a truffle. Wow. Evan the duck is perfect. Woo! Oh. We have to make do. We're not very fancy. There's no wine glasses out here.
No.
Well, there could be.
I thought about it, but
Those cheap plastic ones do good.
my cat eats the other one.
Where's your glass? Where's your cup?
I'm gonna drink out of. I'll grab it in a second.
I'll get around it for you.
This is so awesome.
Squeezing wine out of a smart bottle.
Smart water bottle.
Evan,
Cheers, Marty.
man,
Thanks
you never
again.
cease to amaze. Oh. My I don't give a fuck point when I'm hiking used to be in 24 hours. Like I used to come hiking, and if I was going on a 3-4 day trip, then 24 hours after I'd left the trailhead, I always knew that moment where I'm sitting in the dirt and I don't care. My hands are dirty, my pants are dirty, and I don't care.
You're there.
I'm there. That moment now, some days, is about 15 minutes after I leave the trailhead. Like 15 minutes. And yesterday, yes, we hit that moment. Well, I hit that moment when we had views of that waterfall all frozen. But then for sure, once we got up that cliff and we're struggling up that cliff, you're not thinking about too much
That's
other
it.
than
That
just
was
getting
it.
up that cliff.
That was my moment yesterday. Was the cliff.
Yeah.
You're sidewalling. You're trying to get up there, and I'm like, you're not thinking about work. You're not answering emails or phone calls. There's no text messages coming in.
No, and I've had days where I go hiking where back in the days when I was really busy at work, I would feel a sense of guilt. I knew that, you know, I mean, the whole concept of work-life balance is very promoted in the modern workplace, but it's tough to achieve. And you know, your role is the same way. I mean, the restaurant does not run the same way when you're not there as when you are.
Correct.
And in my world, it doesn't run the same way. So sometimes I'd say to everybody, I'm leaving for 4 days, I'll be back. But you kind of knew, sometimes it'd be an event. Just the day before you leave, it's like something hits the fan and you're like, ah, shit, I really should stay. But you don't. And you go on your trip, but you're guilty the whole time because you're thinking I should be at work.
Yep.
These days, that's pretty rare for me. Like once I'm out here, I'm like, yeah, you guys will figure it out.
It'll.
Fuck, figure it out.
Well, you need to figure it out.
You
I think-
figured it out before I got there, and you'll figure it out after I'm dead in the ground. So I might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might as well enjoy myself instead of worrying about it.
This lantern turned out to be actually pretty cool. I got this. I think it was Nomadic, or it was one of those boxes. You know, those. You get a subscription and you get these boxes delivered every month. And anyways, this was in there. I use it as a water bottle, but it's a water bottle with a built-in LED light. You know, if I change it, lower, blinking. According to the InReach, it's -9 right now, which is really warm. I'm gonna strip all of this off, and I'll be sleeping with a very bare minimum because with the 2 sleeping bags, I'm gonna be super warm tonight. It was a great day. It was just Evan and I, Maddie, Bo, and Nick left this morning. They have to work on Monday. Evan and I have Monday off, so we stayed an extra day. Fun to just relax around the campsite, not have to do too much. Enjoyed the cooking. I mean, we had foie gras on brioche as a snack, and then we had duck on a risotto for supper. There was even chicken wings, and I said, no, that's going over the top with the chicken wings. We'll have the chicken wings for breakfast tomorrow. We bucked up a lot of firewood. We just left a nice fire going right now. It'll go out soon, but I have a feeling it'll still be warm tomorrow morning. Won't be very hard to start the fire. And tomorrow we have a 3-kilometer hike out, so it won't take us long. And because it's Monday tomorrow, things will be busy, so we'll stop in Nordegg. It's a small town here in Alberta that is seldom visited, and I think there's a nice little cafe in Nordegg, so we'll just go and have lunch in Nordegg. If not, we'll go on to Rocky Mountain House, and we'll have one of my favorite treats is to go to Harvey's and have a cheeseburger at Harvey's in Rocky Mountain House.